Hey, I'm Nathan, your average 18-year-old high school senior counting down the days until I can break free and head to college. After years of hard work, it's finally paid off. I scored a scholarship to Westfield University. It's no Ivy League, but it's a great school, and I'm stoked. Now, let me give you a snapshot of my family. There's me, my parents, and my younger sister, Amber. She's about to turn 16, and believe me, she's the golden child. Don't get me wrong, my parents aren't bad, but they definitely have a favorite. Nathan, can you set the table for dinner? My mom called from the kitchen. Sure, Mom, I said, grabbing the plates. Need help with anything else? No, that's fine. Amber's busy with her homework. Typical. Amber always seemed to be busy when there were chores to do. Anyway, let me tell you about my pride and joy, my car. It's just a used Honda Civic, but I worked hard for it. Mowing lawns, washing cars, you name it. I saved every penny for 2 years, and that car is my ticket to freedom when I head to college. Later that evening, my best friend Mike stopped by. Dude, you ready for the big move next month? You know it, I grinned. I can't wait to hit the road in my sweet ride. Mike glanced out the window and lowered his voice. By the way, your sister was checking out your car pretty hard when I pulled up. What's her deal? I sighed. Who knows? Probably planning her next move to get Mom and Dad wrapped around her finger again. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was Olivia, my girlfriend. Hey babe, still on for our study date tomorrow? I smiled, typing back, wouldn't miss it. You're the best support system a guy could ask for. Later, as we all sat down for dinner, I noticed Amber's eyes drifting toward the window where my car was parked. I felt uneasy, something was brewing, and I had no idea how bad it was going to get. As Amber's sweet 16 approached, the tension in the house was thick. One evening, I was chilling in my room when I heard raised voices downstairs. Curious, I crept to the top of the stairs and listened in. But Mom, Dad, it's not fair. Everyone else is getting a car for their sweet 16. Amber was saying. Honey, cars are expensive, Mom started. We can't just. What about Nathan's car? Amber interrupted. He won't even need it at college. His scholarship covers on-campus housing, right? My heart froze. Was she really trying to take my car? That's Nathan's car, sweetie, Dad replied, though he sounded uncertain. He worked hard for it. But I need it more, Amber insisted. He can always get another one later. Please, it would make my birthday perfect. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Furious, I stormed into the room. Are you serious? That's my car. I worked for 2 years to buy it. Mom looked startled. Nathan, we didn't know you were there. We were just discussing. Discussing giving away my car without asking me. I shot back. Amber turned on the waterworks. It's not fair. You always favor Nathan. Dad sighed. Nathan, calm down. We haven't decided anything yet. But I could tell they were considering it. This was insane. Over the next few days, the atmosphere was tense. I tried talking to my parents privately, explaining how much the car meant to me, but they seemed distracted and non-committal. Then the bomb dropped. We were having dinner when Dad cleared his throat. We've made a decision about the car. My heart sank. I knew what was coming, but it still hit me like a punch to the gut. We think it would be best if Amber takes the car, Dad said. Nathan, we promise we'll help you get a new one when you really need it. I stood up so fast my chair toppled over. Are you serious? That's my car. I paid for it with my own money. Mom tried to calm me down. Honey, we know you worked hard, but Amber needs it more right now. You'll be on campus, and what? My feelings don't matter. I snapped, my voice rising. Amber sat there with a smug smile, and I lost it. Fine, I shouted. Take the car. Take everything. I hope you're happy, Amber. And you too, I said, pointing at my parents. I hope you realize what you've done. I stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind me. I walked for hours trying to process the betrayal. My own family had chosen Amber's wants over my needs again. When I finally made my way back home, I realized something. Things would never be the same. I felt like an outsider in my own family, and the worst part, this was only the beginning of the storm that was about to tear through our household. The next day, I met up with Mike and Olivia at our favorite diner. I needed to vent, and they were always there for me. They really did that. Olivia asked, shaking her head in disbelief. That's so unfair. I know, right? I feel like I'm losing it. Am I overreacting? I asked, frustrated. No way, man, Mike said firmly. That's your car. You worked your ass off for it. We need to figure out a way to stand up to them. This isn't right. We spent the next hour brainstorming, but nothing seemed quite right until Mike had an idea. You know, I bet this isn't the first time Amber's pulled something like this. Maybe we should do some digging. A light bulb went off in my head. You're right, she's always getting away with stuff. There's got to be more to it. Over the next few days, I started paying closer attention to Amber. She was always on her phone, acting secretive. Then, one afternoon, I overheard her talking on the phone. No, Mom thinks I'm at study group. We're good. Suspicious, I decided to check her room while she was out. Hidden in the back of her drawer, I found crumpled report cards with grades way lower than the ones she'd shown our parents. I texted Mike immediately. Dude, I think I'm onto something. Can you come over? When Mike arrived, I filled him in. His eyes lit up. I've got an idea. Give me her phone for 5 minutes. What? How? Trust me, he said, grinning. I'll create a distraction. You grab it. 20 minutes later, Mike had worked his tech magic. We had access to Amber's social media and texts, and what we found was shocking. Holy crap, I muttered, scrolling through the messages. She's been skipping school, lying about her grades, even sneaking out at night. Mike nodded grimly. This is big, man. Your parents need to know. Meanwhile, things at home were still tense. Mom kept trying to talk to me about the car. Honey, I know you're upset, but try to understand. Amber really needs this. I just shook my head and walked away. I couldn't even look at them without feeling a mix of anger and betrayal. That night, lying in bed, I realized I couldn't count on my family anymore. It was time to start planning for my future on my own terms. I pulled out my laptop and started researching part-time jobs near campus. If I couldn't rely on my parents, I'd find a way to support myself. As I worked, I felt a mix of sadness and determination. My family had let me down, but I wasn't going to let that define me. I was going to succeed, with or without their support. The next morning, I woke up early and headed to the garage. I ran my hand over my car, soon to be Amber's car, feeling a pang in my chest. But as I turned to go back inside, I squared my shoulders. I had the truth now, and it was time to use it. Little did my family know, their perfect little world was about to come crashing down, and I was going to be the one to bring the hammer. The day had come to confront my family. My hands shook as I clutched the folder of evidence, gathering everyone in the living room. What's this about, Nathan? Dad asked, looking confused. I took a deep breath. I have something you need to see. I laid out everything, hidden report cards, screenshots of texts and social media posts, all proving Amber's lies and deceit. Mom gasped. This can't be true. Amber, tell me this isn't true. Amber's face went pale, then red with anger. You went through my stuff. That's an invasion of privacy. Is it true? Dad demanded. Amber burst into tears, but I could see the calculation behind them. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make you proud. I scoffed. More like you wanted to manipulate them. My parents looked shell-shocked. We need to think about this. Amber, go to your room. We'll discuss your punishment later. But I could already see the hesitation in their eyes. They were making excuses for her. That's it? I asked, incredulous. After everything she's done. Mom reached out to me. Nathan, we understand you're upset. No, you don't understand. You never have. That Friday night, we got the call. Amber had been caught street racing in now her, car. She'd been arrested and the car impounded. We rushed to the police station. Amber sat there, mascara streaked down her face, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. What were you thinking? Dad yelled. I'm sorry, Amber wailed. I didn't think. No, you didn't. The officer explained the situation. Amber's license was suspended, and she was facing serious legal consequences. My parents looked devastated. As we drove home in silence, I could feel the shift. The scales had finally fallen from my parents' eyes. The next morning, they came to my room. Nathan, we owe you an apology, Mom said, her voice trembling. We've been blind, and we've treated you unfairly. Dad nodded. We're so sorry, son. We want to make this right. But it was too late. The damage was done. I appreciate that, I said coldly, but it doesn't change anything. As the days passed and my departure for college approached, I made a decision. I put my car up for sale. What are you doing? Mom asked when she saw the for sale sign. Taking control of my life, I replied. I sold the car for a decent price and used the money to buy a better, more reliable one for college. When my parents offered to help with the costs, I refused. I've got this, I told them. I don't need your help. The day finally came for me to leave for college. As I packed up my new car, Mike and Olivia came to see me off. You ready for this? Mike asked. I nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. As ready as I'll ever be. You're going to do great, Nathan. We believe in you. My parents stood awkwardly by the door. Mom was crying, and Dad looked like he wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. Amber was nowhere to be seen. Last I heard, she was doing community service and attending mandated counseling sessions. Dad finally spoke up. Nathan, we're proud of you and we're sorry for everything. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. Despite everything, a part of me still loved them. But I couldn't forget what had happened. As I drove away, Mike and Olivia following in Mike's car for the road trip to campus, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I felt free. I was leaving behind the toxicity, the favoritism, the betrayal. Amber would have to face the consequences of her actions, and my parents would have to live with the realization of how they had treated me. As for me, I was moving forward. I had a fresh start, a chance to build a life on my own terms. It wouldn't be easy, but I was ready for the challenge. The open road stretched out before me, full of possibility. I turned up the radio, smiled at my friends in the car behind me, and pressed down on the accelerator. Whatever came next, I knew one thing for sure. I was going to make it on my own, and I was going to succeed. Now, I want to hear from you. If you were in my shoes, would you have forgiven your parents and sister? Or would you have cut ties completely? What do you think is the right balance between standing up for yourself and maintaining family relationships when trust has been broken? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and opinions might help others facing similar situations. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.